provides color and opacity to the paint film. Also, we will be discussing now the mechanism of the drying oil. Look here, what is the mechanism of the drying oil that is used? We have here, look here, this is mechanism of the drying oil. Okay, drying oil is basically made up of unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, this unsaturation, it means what double bond is present in the structure, and that is why these all are the structure of the unsaturated fatty acids. Now what you do, you take this unsaturated fatty acids, and what happens, it is going to absorb oxygen from atmosphere. Okay, so this oxygen is going to react with this unsaturated fatty acids, and this will undergo oxidation reaction. What is the product formed here? We are getting peroxide in the structure. Okay, so peroxide formed here is basically undergoing the rearrangement. Okay, so what happens, your O from here is going to go this side, so it is going to form CO dash, CH is there, and H from here is going to come down, so it is going to from CO, that is here we are having which group? We are having ketone group here, and OH, that is hydroxy group here. So peroxide on rearrangement is going to form hydroxy ketone compound. Okay, so this hydroxy ketone compound that is formed is going to undergo further polymerization. This is actually one unit. Okay, there will be so many hydroxy ketone units that is going to polymerize further and going to form a rigid hard film on the surface. Let us try to summarize this reaction in a steps. We have the mechanism of the drying oil. The first point that is stating is drying oil basically consists of unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, as shown in diagram, these unsaturated fatty acids will going to absorb oxygen from air and going to form the peroxide. Okay, now this peroxide, what happens to this peroxide? It is going to undergo rearrangement and it is going to form hydroxy ketone. This hydroxy ketone formed, okay, will undergo polymerization, and finally it is going to form hard solid polymer film on the surface. Clear? So this is how this drying oil is working, and this is how your paint gets dried, and this is the mechanism of the drying oil. Coming to the characteristics of good paint, we have seen that good paint should be opaque, chemically inert, non-toxic, cheap, should be ready to mix with oil. Also we have seen the role of the thinner, that is solvent. What is the role of thinner? This thinner will help your liquid, okay, your paint to dry quickly, and for that aliphatic hydrocarbon and aromatic hydrocarbons are used. Then we have function of thinner. Why these thinners are important? They suspend the pigment, they control the viscosity of the paint. Again, very important point is paint viscosity. Viscosity of the paint should be controlled, otherwise it is very difficult to apply paint on the surface. It helps paint in drying. Okay, that is the important role. Dryers are the important component that were oxygen carrier catalyst, and what is the role of these dryers? They will help the paint film to dry with the help of oxidation or condensation or polymerization reaction. Okay, this is important. High amount of dryer will cause the quick cracking of the paint film. We have seen improving the drying quality of the paints. Then coming to the fillers. Fillers also playing very important role. They reduce the cost. They are basically inert material that improves the quality of the paint. Also they are going to reduce the cracking of the paint film, and that is why fillers and dryers has to be controlled in the amount. Then it helps to fill up the voids in the films. This is also very important. Also the fillers are playing major role by acting as a carrier for the pigment color. Role of the plasticizers. As you know, the name itself suggests that it gives elasticity to the paint films, and that is why the quick cracking of the paint film is avoided. Varnish, as shown here, homogeneous colloidal dispersion solution of natural or synthetic resins in oil or thinners or both. Two types of varnishes. One is oil varnish, another is you have spirit varnish. Oil varnish, on comparison, if you see here, it produces hard, lustrous and durable film, but in case of spirit varnish, it is going to form film that basically dries quickly and also cracks soon. You have oil varnish can be used for interior and exterior work, but here spirit varnish is having the application of interior works more because it is getting affected by weather. Okay, and this spirit varnish is basically prepared by dissolving resin in volatile solvent like methylated solvents. Good varnish qualities, what are the characteristics? That is, it should be adapting itself to the temperature changes, film form should be elastic, should not fade or dry with weather conditions, should dry quickly, should form the hard, tough and durable film, that is very important, and should form the shiny film. This is expected from the good varnish. Coming to the summary, okay, if you compare the paint and varnish, you can say very clearly that the varnish do not contain pigment, but if you see the comparison, paints contain pigment. On the other hand, varnish produces transparent film on the surface, but if you see paint, it is going to produce non-transparent film. If you see here, resins are used instead of oil in varnish, but if you see here, resin cannot be used instead of oil in paint. Okay, so this is the comparison, and here varnish surface do not reflect heat and light, but painted surface does reflect heat and light nicely. That is very important. Coming to the insulators, that is the last topic, we have seen that insulators have a very high, extremely low thermal electrical properties, so that is important, and having a higher applications in the industrial field. Glass wool and thermocol are the examples. We have discussed the types of insulating materials, that are natural insulators, insulating foils, insulating wools, and we have synthetic insulating materials or manufactured insulating materials. On the same side, we can see here this type of the material occur in nature, that is why we have given natural insulator title, okay, used in conservation of heat. Then insulating foils used for refrigeration purpose. Here insulating wools for rock wool, mineral wool, glass wool and slag wool examples. Same thing, manufactured insulating materials finding in the different zone applications. You have the properties of the glass wool that are making it very important, that is low density, low thermal conductivity, low electrical conductivity, fireproof, it is non-combustible, resistant to chemicals and good tensile strength. These properties, because of these properties, it can be used as a thermal insulator in motors, oven, refrigerators, walls and roofs of houses. It can be used in air filters, used for sound insulation, used to manufacture fiberglass. Then we have properties of thermocol. It is low density, spongy, porous and foam-like structure, shock-proof, chemically inert, low electrical conductivity. What are the applications? It is used as an ideal packing material for delicate electrical and electronic equipment, and used as a heat insulator in refrigeration and air conditioners, and used for decoration and protection purposes. You can see here with this, you can understand in this session we have discussed so many things, that is we have taken up till now we have discussed insulators, okay, insulators playing a major role in its own field. Then we have seen refractory, so many things are discussed in the chapter number 6, that is paint. We have seen the varnish, we have seen the difference between these two, we have seen the examples, we have seen the function of the each pigments of the paints, then we have seen the applications of the paints, we have seen the applications of the varnishes, we have seen the applications of the insulator in the different field. With this session we have ended our syllabus on chapter number 6, okay, that is our chapter 6 given in the Applied Science 2 Chemistry GTU Diploma syllabus. Thank you for being with us. We'll continue in next session.